Hello and welcome. Today is the latest episode of What I'm Watching. This is a reoccurring series here on my channel where I give you different streaming selections across various streaming services. So if you're ready to just kick back, relax, and have some entertainment, then let's go ahead and get started. Our first selection can be found on Max. It is the movie Priscilla. This movie follows the upbringing of a young Priscilla Presley. And I have to say, I did not realize how young she was. I knew that she was young, I just did not realize how young. The saying goes that there are two sides to every story, especially with celebrities. So this movie, I don't know all the facts, but from what I can tell, at least from this movie, it seems that Priscilla Presley, kind of the persona, was created. Throughout this movie, the question kind of continues, is money and fame worth your happiness? Just because you live in this big opulent house and you have all this attention, are you happy? Is it worth giving up that happiness just to be in the spotlight? I will say that this one kind of just scratched the surface a little bit for me. I'm curious to learn more about her life. For our second selection, we're going to hop over to Stars for the movie Redeeming Love. This movie demonstrates that sometimes love can be found in the most unexpected places. I will say with the plot, it kind of became a little bit frustrating. You kind of had this go and pull, but you just have to stay with the storyline. I feel like with this movie, they gave a little bit too much detail, especially with there's one occurrence in the movie where they're using child actors, and I felt like they just gave a little too much. We as adults watching this, we know the context here. We know what was happening. I felt like they just went a little too overboard with it. It was interesting, and one thing that drew me into the story is that it reminded me of a Hell's 8 book series that I read quite a while back. So for that, being a book reader and then watching this movie, I was constantly thinking of parallels between that book series and this movie. I have no idea if it has anything to do with it, probably not, but I just found similar plot lines. Alright, for our third and final selection, we're going to hop back to Max for the movie Wonka. I personally have never cared for the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movies, whether it's the original version, the Johnny Depp version. I just never cared for them. However, that being said, I didn't mind this one. I actually kind of liked it. It mildly kind of felt like they were trying to have some of the Greatest Showman vibes a little bit. It's a completely different story plotline. It just kind of gave off those vibes a little bit. So for me, again, going back to the original, I kind of felt like the main character wasn't the nicest person, but in this movie, he is the one championing for the underdog, and it kind of makes it clear why he chose Charlie in the original movie. Just some food for thought. I felt that this made for a good origin movie. It kind of answered a few questions, gave you backstory, had a good plot to it. Again, overall, I was very pleased with this movie. Those are the 3 selections for this episode. If none of these interest you, don't worry. I have a full playlist that you can click here on the screen, and you are sure to find something. So go ahead and click it, and I'll see you over there.